kingdom is within. Now, you are the king or queen of your kingdom. Okay? But this is your kingdom. Okay? So, in actuality, in reality, okay, you control your kingdom. You have control of this. And this is a miracle. You are a miracle. Maybe you have been made to feel like you're not a miracle. Maybe you have been made to feel that you are less than. Okay? For example, we are told that certain places in the world are holy. They're holy places. Okay. You have been conditioned to believe that certain institutions are, let's say, sacred. Okay. And I'm not just talking about churches, I'm not talking about religion, I'm talking about everything. Okay? So certain places are special. Certain people are special, right? If you want to see special, just go into the bathroom, turn on the light, look in the mirror, there you are. That's special. So the subconscious, conscious, and superconscious, all three states of awareness, are within you for a reason. You have been given this so that your life path can unfold the way you want it to, the way you desire it to. But let's say some institutions, or let's say some, let's just call it institutions, because they're based in commerce, because it's based in money. Okay, universities, religion, government, all of these things, they're based in commerce. Follow the money. Okay. Now, you can be in the system and not of the system. Christians say you can be in the world and not of the world. What does that mean? You can have everything you desire, everything that you want. Okay? Not necessarily, it won't come to you necessarily the way you want it to, but it will come. It will present itself. And sometimes when that happens, you don't see it for what it really is. Because the how is God's job. God does the how. So we will call that the superconscious, because we don't want to offend people who don't believe in God or don't like the name God or the label God. So we will say superconscious. Conscious, subconscious, superconscious. They're all states of awareness in here. God lives in here. Source lives in here. Universe lives in here. You are the microcosm of the macrocosm. You are the small version of the larger version. I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm not here to offer. I have no courses for you. I have no, I have no curriculum for you, okay? But I'm here to open the prison, to unlock the gate. The prison is here. The temple is also here. But when you corrupt the temple, okay, and this is, how do you corrupt the temple? External things, external, everything external, outside this one, okay, out here. When you corrupt the temple, what happens? Well, now you go off and you're believing over here, you're believing this, you're believing that. What are we taught to do? We're taught to go within. The kingdom is within. Where are the answers? The answers are within. All of them. Every single last one of them. Okay? There's no such thing as finding an answer out here. You could find an answer out here, okay? But there's no out here. There's no out there. Everything out there is from nature or someone else's in here. So everything that you find out here has been placed there before you. So now, is this going to be for you or not? We don't know. When you attach yourself, when you engage, attach, When you engage with something, you become a part of it. If someone else put a system in place out here in the physical world, because you are in here, you're not your body, you're not your name, you're that energy that lives in here, you're that spirit that lives in here. The body carries this around. This is eternal. You can't extinguish it. There's a separation between the body and the spirit. Everything out here in the physical world is of the body, because the body anchors you into the physical world. But the spirit is independent of the body. It's in here. So when you are subscribing to things out here, when you are choosing things out here, when you are selecting things out here, you are engaging. When you engage, you join. That includes ideologies, that includes material things, that includes other people. So manifestation, is it some kind of magic or mystical thing? No, it's not. It's your subconscious. Is perception involved? Yes, of course. Perception is involved. Your reticular activating system in your brainstem filters out what you're not interested in or what you're not focused on. But everything that you focus on intensifies. Everything that you focus on intensifies. If you're focused on relationships, guess what? Your relationships get better. Family relationships, right? Parental relationships, romantic relationships. If you're focused on business, guess what? Business gets better. So whatever you apply your focus to intensifies. So how do we apply precision focus? Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, and visualization. Does it shift? Does it change? Yeah, all the time. Because humans are very, very complex beings. Very advanced. So once you think the thought, right? A belief is a thought you keep thinking. Once it becomes a belief, goes into the subconscious. Subconscious looks for confirmation. The reticular activating system starts filtering out everything else. And now your focus has created an intensification of the subject. Now the subject is prevalent. Now the subject is before you. Now the subject is beginning to grow. So the conscious mind is responsible for establishing the center point. When you form the center point, or let's say it another way, when you make a decision and you stick to it no matter what, your timeline corresponds to that center point. Then what happens? Well, everything involved in the subject matter begins to happen. Now the subconscious holds that center point and it begins to repeat it. Your job is to reinforce the subconscious. Let me show you what that looks like. It looks like this. These are affirmations. Okay? This is not journaling. These are affirmations. These are instructions to your subconscious. Then what happens? Well, your subconscious begins to repeat these things. Actions bring results. Either in thought, because you can do it just by thought alone, or physical actions. So like I said, there's the body and the spirit. Now, the body can commit the actions. In other words, you can walk towards your goal or move towards your goal, or you can think towards your goal. When that starts happening in the subconscious and the reticular activating system starts filtering out what you're not focused on, it leaves you with what you're focused on. Then what? Well, then you have the superconscious. What does that do? The superconscious will start bringing the right people into play, the right circumstances, and opening the doors as you progress towards your goal. This is not magic. This is not some evil spirit. What was really funny yesterday was I saw a quote by Candace Owens who said that manifestation is not Christian. Okay. It depends how you're practicing that. Are you inventing witchcraft spells or what incantations or whatever? I mean, you could do it that way if that makes you feel good, but that's not what it is. It's your subconscious. So if you're coming up with a spell, whatever, however you believe, I'm not demonizing witchcraft, although, I have my reservations and my opinions in that, and that's not what I'm here for. I'm not here to judge. I'm not here to tell you what to believe. But if that makes you happy, that's what's going to go into your subconscious. Because you will believe in the spell. If you, let's say, believe that this remote right here will bring you money, and it goes into your subconscious, you will probably make money. If that's how you believe. A belief is a thought you keep thinking. So the superconscious brings everything together. So look at the conscious mind as your operating system, okay? Your subconscious is the hard drive where the information and the programs are stored. It's a culmination of all of your senses, everything you've ever done, everything you've ever seen, everything you've ever spoken. Okay, watch your words. It goes into your subconscious. What else? Everything. That's why when you're in the store and you hear the music and you hear a song and it takes you back to 4th grade and you go, wow, I remember that song. And you get a vision. Maybe it's the playground. Maybe it's the classroom. Maybe it's your friends that you were with. But it takes you back there. That's subconscious. Your subconscious is the book of life because it remembers everything you've ever done. Okay, what happens when you do bad things? Oh, self-esteem goes down. Why? Well, because you know it's bad. Because you know right from wrong. Good people do bad things. Bad people do good things. This is not about judgment. This is not about morals. This is not church. This is not that. This is not temple. This is not synagogue. This is not, okay? This is how this works. This is how you work and how you can bring whatever you desire into your life. Now, if you desire bad things, you can do that really well with this training. If you desire good things, you can do that really well with this training. Okay, so everything works for and against you depending on how you believe and what you believe and your perception. This is why out of 8 billion people on the planet, no two are the same. Not everybody wants a new car. Not everybody wants a new house. Some people want to be left alone. Some people want to go way up in the mountains and live in a log cabin all by themselves. So the question becomes, what do you want? And when you focus on what you want versus what you don't want, you start getting more of what you want. Whatever you want. There are some people who are obsessed with money. They keep getting money, 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 money. Why? They're on the money program. Money, 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 money. Some people only have money. Is that good? It depends on what it is for them. It depends. Okay? Sometimes you get tired of only money, money, money. Right? When you get tired of money, 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 what do? You change tack. Okay? You change. You go, okay, now I have money. Now I got to focus on this. Now I have this. Now I have to focus on this. Now I have this. Now I focus on this. Whatever you focus on intensifies. So you can use electricity to cook your food, to light your home. And you can use electricity for an electric chair. It depends on how you use it. Okay, so like I said, this is not about anything other than what you choose. So shift everything to your desire. Okay, because when you say, I want this, I want that, you're suggesting that you don't have it and you're coming from lack. You know, I don't have, I want a new car. I want a new house. I want a good relationship. I want a better job. I want. To your subconscious. Okay, your subconscious recognizes it as, I don't have these things. Desire is a little bit different. Look it up. Do your research. You'll find it. You'll see it. Okay. This is not dogma. This is not any of that. This is human being. This is perception. This is conscious, subconscious, superconscious. The three states of awareness that live in here. The kingdom is within. When you start assigning labels to things, when you start assigning principles to things, when you start assigning conditions to things, when you start assigning, this is that, that's this kind of person, that's that kind of, we talked about preconceived judgments. Preconceived judgments, what does that entail? Well, anything you haven't experienced yet, but you say this is that. You see someone, they have the appearance of something that presented itself before, and you go, oh, that's like that guy. She's like that girl. This is like that thing. But we naturally do this. We naturally do this for survival. But when you start to develop a higher sense of awareness, you can remove yourself from the box, you can look back into the box, you can become the observer and allow whatever it is in front of you to show itself. And you can hold off on the preconceived judgments. Because when you judge something, you get judged. How does that happen? In your subconscious. Then what happens? Well, if it's negative, it depends, right? Sometimes it's positive. But if it's negative, it results in low self-esteem, low self-worth. Okay. And then of course, there's other things that we depend upon that are external, that are not from the kingdom, not within the kingdom, not part of the kingdom, that we seek for validation. And when we invest time and energy and money in something external, and we follow that, we put our faith in that, could be a myriad of things. It's like I met this lady and she said, oh, God is up there. Jesus is up there. I'm like, up there where? She said, in heaven. I go, But it tells you in Holy Scripture the kingdom is within. God lives in here. But she says, no, it's up there. And Jesus will come riding on a horse through the clouds to save us. Okay? But this is what she believes. A belief is a thought you keep thinking. Obviously, she's thought this for a long time. But your power is within. It's in the Bhagavad Gita, it's in the Torah, it's in the Talmud, it's in the Quran, it's in the Bible. It's in all of these places. It's said a little bit differently in different books, but it all says the same thing. And the same thing, the same theme, is you have a choice. You have a choice. And it's not about making the bad choice and ending up in a, in a bad place if you don't make bad choices. So let's look at the 50 percentile here. This is positive, this is negative. Okay? If you take this positive and you move it over this way from 50%, now it's 51%. Now the majority of your life is positive. Is that difficult to do? No, not at all. What if you push it to 55? Can you do that? Sure. Is that difficult to do? No. Can I move it to 60? Is this possible? 60% positive in my life and then 40? Yeah, but this is a lot of work. A lot of work. So normally when I do my intakes, not always, but normally, I ask people, like, in your opinion, how much positivity would you say is in your life right now? How much are you positive versus negative in your life? Oh, maybe 80, 90% positive. Whoa, that's over here. That's over here. That's a good decision, bad decision. Good decision. Hopefully not this, right? Good, 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 bad. Good, 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 bad. Good, 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 bad. And sometimes bad decisions are influenced. Sometimes you get deceived, right? So it's not always your fault, but it's always your decision. And your decision always has a result. Sometimes you buy something on sale, right? Doesn't last too long. Oh, but it was on sale. Okay. Maybe the lesson is, okay, next time look for the thing you're going to pay a full price for because you get what you pay for. That could be the lesson, maybe not. Maybe it doesn't matter. But every decision brings an outcome. But when you form the center point in the conscious, from the conscious mind to the subconscious, and hold that position, your timeline will start to correspond to you like that. It's only when you break that center point, when you go, okay, I want to do this, right? Okay, this is the plan over here, this one, right? And then you go for a couple days and you go, oh no, I think I'll change the plan over here. Oh no, I think I'll do this over here. And that indecisiveness has God react like a GPS. Okay, so the GPS, right? Let me give you this scenario. So you're using a GPS. The GPS tells you to go over here. But you know that if you go over here, this is actually a shortcut that the GPS did not map out for you. So you go over here. What does the GPS do? The GPS starts thinking. It goes in a circle. It starts thinking, and then it lays out the map for you that way, the way you're going, right? It shows you the possibility. Quantum physics tells us and shows us that there are infinite possibilities. So we don't have one or two or three ways to get to something. There are a myriad of ways, infinite possibilities. So when you change your mind or when you break that center point, God starts thinking. God goes, wait, hang on, and starts calibrating, recalibrating. and I'm talking about the superconscious, it starts recalibrating. Wait, you're taking that direction? Okay, wait, hang on, right? So it takes a little while, and then it lays out the route that way. And then you go, oh, okay, all right. Hey, Rosanna, good morning. Good morning, guys. Good morning, Havana. Good morning. So it lays out the route that way. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. So it lays out the route that way. And then you go that way. But if you hold the center point firm and you don't budge, your timeline has to correspond to you. It has to do this. And then what happens? Then, depending on what the subject matter is, you start meeting the right people. You start seeing the doors open because now you're walking towards your goal, whether you're physically walking or mentally thinking. Okay, I use the XYZ company scenario, right? Okay, I want to work at XYZ company. Okay. So you've been thinking this for 2 weeks. You've written your affirmation. I am so happy and grateful now that I work at XYZ company as a accountant. Thank you. There you go. That's your affirmation. Now, after 2 weeks of doing this, and this is subconscious, this is not magic, this is not mysticism, this is not any of that. This is human being. Your subconscious takes it as a belief now because you've been doing it for a while, so it starts to take as a belief. It starts to look for confirmation. It starts to pull confirmation of that. The superconscious goes, oh, okay. And then 2 weeks later, you're in the gym and you're working out and you meet this guy or girl. And you start talking. Maybe you're talking about fitness. Maybe you're talking about weights and what. And then it's like, oh, what do you do? Oh, I work in HR. Oh, where do you work at? XYZ company. I was just thinking of working there. Oh, yeah, we have openings. Come and apply. A week later, you apply. In 3 weeks' time, you get approved. Now you're working for XYZ company. Coincidence? It depends on how you believe. Now, if you have a higher power, okay, superconscious, if you believe in the higher power, some people don't, and if in that case there's just the conscious and subconscious, the conscious and subconscious. But if you have a higher power, if you believe in God, if you believe in whatever higher self, infinite intelligence, the unseen, that energy, then if you are of that belief, then you have to think that it's that. Because you cannot flip-flop like that. You cannot go back and forth like that. You cannot say, well, you know, I met my husband because I walked in this club and he was a bouncer and you know, he was handsome and I was attracted to him and pretty soon he said hello and then we started talking, then we went out and then we're getting married next week. Oh, coincidence? Or did God bring him into your world for a reason? I know a lot of people that believe in God, but they don't believe in this one. They don't believe in their own kingdom. Because in their understanding, in their worldview, in their paradigm, they think of God as something external, out there, up there. So where do they put their trust and their faith and their, right? Up there, somewhere, out there. Destination unknown. And this is why Jesus Christ, Krishna, Gautama Buddha, all told us that the kingdom is within. All of them, in different ways. You cannot believe in the superconscious and have no belief in yourself. It's crazy. You cannot say everything for a reason, then when something happens, God, that's just a coincidence. Either everything is a coincidence and you're having a random existence and life happens to you like this, right? And what I mean by this is things happen to you rather than for you, or God exists. Whatever that is for you, the superconscious exists. Then there's God, Jesus Christ, Allah, however you believe. I'm not here to tell you what to believe. But you cannot be selective like that and go, okay, God gave me this. Oh, that my car broke down. Oh, that's a coincidence. Or, oh, I won this TV at the company Christmas party. What a coincidence. But I believe in God, and God did all these other things, and that kind of thing. You cannot be selective like that. It's either one or the other. It's either everything is God, right? And the kingdom is within, and your life unfolds for you according to what you believe, according to what's in your subconscious. Or you're just having this random life where nothing is planned, nothing can be planned, because why? Because everything's random. So, you can design your life on purpose, deliberately. The pen is more powerful than the sword, and that's the reason why they say this, is because this can change your life. So the inventors of the world, the scientists of the world, have all gotten their inspiration, their ideas, their creativity from the right hemisphere of the brain. Jesus lives at the right hand of the Father. Cast your net to the right side. There's a reason why it says that. The right side. The ego is the left side. You can learn to subdue the ego. You can learn to quiet down the ego. You can learn to circumvent the ego. You can learn to push the ego on the side a little bit so you can get by with the creativity. Okay? So there's a difference between competitiveness and creativity. Okay? When you're creative, that suggests that, well, if this doesn't exist, I can create it. Right? That's where you have inventions from. That's where people have invented things, because it didn't exist, and they go, wow, it would be really cool if I had something that did this. So they invent it. And then they share it. And other people are like, wow, this is really cool. Yeah, we have this robot vacuum. Wow, who'd have thunk it, right? Well, that person thunk it. Some of the laziest people in history were the best inventors, because they were looking for something more convenient. On the other side of the coin, there's so many convenient things in society that some of it is detrimental to our well-being. Then again, you decide which is good for you. Okay? But when you apply affirmations, meditation, vocalization, and visualization to anything, it has to happen. It probably won't happen like you think it will happen, because the how is God's job. But God, the universe, the unseen, infinite intelligence, however you believe, will bring that to you. And you will see that you have this ability within you, because you are a co-creator with God. I used to experience times where I would sit down and write a song in 5 minutes, sometimes as fast as I could put it on paper, because I had all the ideas here. And once I started writing, it all came out on paper, like without stopping, just boom, 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 as fast as I could write it. And my goal was 25 songs a year, and I did that for years. And I wrote over 300 songs that way, because it was a goal. Because I put it into my subconscious that, okay, every year 25 songs. Some years I exceeded that, some years I below that. But the subconscious learns in repetition. The superconscious provides the intuitive thought. So now here I was, I got the conscious mind gave me the title or the topic, right? Okay, I'm gonna write about Donna. I'm gonna write about the mountains. I'm gonna write about the ocean. I'm gonna write about, whatever, right? I'm gonna write about love. Okay. So you pick your topic. Now that goes into the subconscious. Now you start writing. Okay, you wrote a love song. There you go. Mostly all of my songs are love songs. Why? Because that was what I taught my subconscious to do. And then it kept repeating, right? So like next song, what are you going to write about? Love. Okay, what are you going to write about? Love. What are you going to do? Love. Everything was love. Love songs. Love. Mushy songs, like mushy songs, right? But I was getting started. This was, when I was in my teens. I started writing. I started composing at age 10. By age 14, I was writing about love, 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 right? So in my 20s, it was like, okay, I would sit down, I would just get an idea. The superconscious would give me the idea. We could say God gave me the idea. And I just sat down and write as fast as I could write. The song came out. They weren't always good songs. They don't have to be good songs. They just have to be songs. But the average number of songs that actually worked out versus songs you don't want anybody to hear, the average was really good after a while. Why? Because you start small and grow things in life. You start small and grow things. This is where we have a big misconception amongst young people today. That, well, I can get my degree and 2 months from now I'll be the CEO. Okay. But you start small and you grow, you start small and you grow, you start small and you grow. And what happens? Your subconscious learns in repetition. Pretty soon your body does it better than you. It's somatic. I did comedy for a while. I did multiple things because I was interested in so many things. And I did comedy for a while. And the comedy got so subconscious, my body did it better than me. And I would be in the shower in the morning with water, okay? So we're electromagnets, okay? This is why you get good ideas when you're in the ocean, when you're in a swimming pool, when you're in the shower, when you're in the rain. Water conducts electricity. Water brings energy, a different kind of energy. So by the time I got out of the shower, I had my bit. So I used to keep my phone next to the shower, record the ideas, listen on the way to the radio station. I got on the radio station, first break, hit the ball over the fence. Did it happen every single time? No. Did it happen the majority of the time? Yes. And so I recorded all of these things. I still have all the recordings. I would record it every day. The guys that I worked with probably, I don't know what they thought. I never asked them. But they probably thought, well, why is he recording every day? I recorded it every day so that I could listen, right, to the spontaneous things that I did for my subconscious. Now, here's the two things that you should know. Your subconscious responds to your voice and your image over everything else, over everyone else. So by listening to my own comedy, by listening to my own music, my subconscious goes, oh, okay, we're doing that. Oh, okay. You want to improve on that? Oh, okay. That's the subject matter. And it became so, I want to call it tight. Musicians call it tight. Or let's say focused, or let's say together, or let's say organized. That pretty soon it was like boom, 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 boom. because my body knew how to do it better than me. And that's a somatic action. That's your body, your subconscious, doing it better than your conscious mind. And people thought, I don't know what they thought. Oh, Junior's funny. Oh, whatever, right? But they didn't understand the work that went into it. They didn't understand the back end. I used to be sitting there an hour before the show went on the air. Everybody would show up 10 minutes before the show. So sometimes putting in the work means that you do preparation. Success is when preparation meets opportunity. There was an old interview, Barbara Walters interview, that I saw when I was very young. I think I was 19 or 20 years old. And she interviewed this guy. And he was a CEO of a petroleum company. He was very successful, very, very wealthy man. She was in his private jet. And she said, "Do you consider yourself lucky?" And he said, "When you work 16 hours a day, 7 days a week, you're bound to get lucky." And I never forgot that. So I started working 16-hour days. Now, when I say work 16-hour days, I don't mean work for a corporation for 16 hours. I don't mean necessarily work at a job for 16 hours. But put in 16 hours into yourself. Put 16 hours into your reading or your writing or your speaking. Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization. What does that do? Whoa, it works miracles, because the miracle is here, because God lives in here, okay, because the kingdom is within. It sharpens your skills. Now, in my case, it was audio for a radio show. In my case, it was music for composition, for a performance, rehearsing a show over and over and over and over. For teaching, it was life coaching. It was over and over and over. In order to teach, you have to learn. So first you learn, then you teach. And sometimes it takes years of learning to be able to be effective. It's not so much that you need all this overview. It's that you need to get to the heart of things. You need to get to the etymology of words. You need to get to esoteric meanings. You need to get to the very roots of the things that are being portrayed in the world, because of the material aspect of things, because there's a separation between the body and the spirit. The spirit is in here. The body participates as an anchor in the physical world. It's the only thing that's anchoring you in the physical world. But you're independent in here. Okay, so when people go, "Oh, uncle, what do you do?" I'm like, "Well, I'm a spiritual life coach." "Oh, you go to church?" It's not that kind of spiritual. Although it's part of it. Okay, but it's not dogmatic. It's independent of everything. You are independent of everything. You have the ability to create anything for yourself. So when they say you can have, do, or be anything, they're telling the truth. And the left brain, right, the logic, the ego will say, "Well, what if I want to be an astronaut? I'm 75 years old." Recently, we saw some astronauts that are pretty old, went into space. They're not really astronauts. They're calling themselves astronauts now. But I'm just saying, right? There's no finite box for a human being. How do you know this? Well, let me give you an example. Ever since I've been alive, okay, I've been alive a long time. the human being has gotten a little bit faster every 4 years in the Summer Olympics. Records are being broken every 4 years in the Summer Olympics. Even if it's just a 16th of a second, a fraction of a second. But the human being is faster. The human being is better. The human being, gets better. How is this possible? It's still happening in my lifetime without steroids, without enhancements. But the human being gets better and better and better and better. And now with YouTube, right, we see little geniuses, 5 years old, geniuses. Are they really geniuses? Or are they just unrestricted? Are they just supported? Are they just provided with the things that they're interested in? Are they just shown the way? So back in the day, there were a lot of us that could do a lot of things, but we didn't have support because things weren't invented yet. There was no YouTube to watch children on the other side of the world do things so that we could think that, oh, we could do that too. I can do that too, right? But when television came along, people started seeing talented people. We started seeing inventive people. We started seeing other human beings. And that tells us like, oh, okay, I can do that too. So that was my platform. Okay. Ideas from television, right? Boom. Later on, it made me a lot of money. It made me a lot of money later on. What was the paradigm back then though? In my house, it was like, no, that's silly. That's ridiculous. And I'm like, but this is what I like. No, you'll never make any money playing music. In 2010, I crossed the $1 million mark. However, I had to do the marketing. I had to do, there's a lot of things I had to do to make that possible. A lot of things. So actually my parents were right when they said, you'll never make money playing music because in their understanding, right? The guy sitting in the restaurant playing a gig, they still make around the same amount of money, just maybe a little bit more. Not very much more. Are they living really well? Depends. Is it worth it? Yeah. And I admire them for that. Why? Because they're doing what they believe in. They're following their dreams. They're following their heart. And it's keeping them happy. So there's always a trade-off, right? Is money what you're after? Okay, money. Pretty soon all you have is money. And then what? Well, are you happy? Money doesn't bring happiness. It brings you toys. I used to give away all my toys when I was a kid. I used to give them to the poor kids because they needed toys. I had toys. No brainer. Here you go. Take home some toys. Drove my parents crazy. What was the happiness in that scenario? The happiness was in the sharing. The happiness was the friendship, the fun that we had together. And then it was, oh, wow, I wish I had one like that. Oh, you like it? Here, take it home. But guess what? Things always came. Why? Because I always gave. I give my time. Your time is your life, okay? Try giving your time when you don't have money. And watch what happens. Watch money come. Give your time. When you don't have money, give time. Pretty soon money shows up. But if your focus is money, okay, I'm here to tell you to focus on things you love and people you love. If your focus is money, that could be, it could be a challenge for you at some point, at which you can fix it. You can adjust it, okay? I'm not saying focusing on money is wrong. It's not wrong. There's no judgment here. This is not about right or wrong. This is about what you choose. Okay, so you can choose money for a few years. Then you have money, right? People that get money want what? Power, right? So they run for office, they do other things. So maybe for a few years you want to build up the bank. Okay, focus on money. But when you focus on things you love and people you love, something happens. When you focus on the things you love and people you love, what is the underlying current? Love. Love. Things you love, people you love. When you're focused on love, you're focused on the divine energy within. Because God is love. God does not judge. I don't care what your Sunday school tells you. God does not judge. We do. We judge by our actions. We judge by judging others. What goes around comes around through the subconscious. Be careful what you're saying. Be careful what you're speaking. When you speak the wrong thing or you speak something that you really didn't want to speak, just say, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. Or I'm sorry. Who are you apologizing to? You're apologizing to the kingdom, to you, and to God that you are a co-creator with. So you say, sorry, I'm sorry. Steve, he's a jerk. Oh, I'm sorry. You are entitled to your opinion. You are a human being. You're entitled to think. You're entitled to your opinion. You're entitled to speak as you will. However, okay, there's a but here. Here's your big fat but. But, okay, but when you do this, if your subconscious picks this up as a regular activity, your subconscious can make you negative. Your subconscious can make you grumpy. Your subconscious can make you judgmental. What happens when you get into this cycle? Oh, self-esteem goes down. Okay? In the kingdom, self-esteem goes down, pride goes down. Pretty soon, you start feeling bad. Now you're feeling the residual effects of the subconscious in the negative. Okay, if you're deceiving other people, guess what happens? You will get deceived. Why? Because this is the practice you're putting in your subconscious. If you help people, guess what? Help comes, right? Why is that? Well, because your subconscious is going, okay, this is going to be in repetition. I'm going to help so-and-so. I'm going to help so-and-so. I'm going to help so-and-so. I'm going to spend my time with so-and-so. Spend my time with so-and-so. You cannot perform a positive action or a good action and not be rewarded. It's crazy. It's crazy to think that that does not happen. Just read Proverbs, and unfortunately, what was the comment? Let me see. Unfortunately, I have a long way to go to be in good terms with God. God isn't here, Kurt. Those things were written by human beings. So yeah, you need to start small, okay? Conscious mind. A belief is a thought you keep thinking. Change your beliefs. When you change your beliefs, the subconscious will begin to change your life. The superconscious, or God, will start giving you intuitive thought on how to make things better. You can pray to be more faithful. You can pray to be better. You can pray to increase your salary or increase your self-worth or increase anything. But when it comes, we don't always see it. So this is the last thing I'll talk about today. Okay? There's God-made and there's man-made. Okay? God-made, man-made. Oh, let's say it this way. This is my right. So God-made, man-made. The material world, the spiritual world. Sometimes when things show up in the material world, you don't make the connection between the physical and the spiritual. Okay? So sometimes when you're asking God for something, or you're asking higher self for something, or infinite intelligence for something, or you're asking, right? Insert belief system here. You don't recognize when it comes sometimes. Sometimes we take it for granted. We go, oh, well, I was supposed to. I was supposed to, get this anyway. My tax rebate came. I was writing an affirmation for $500. I got a $1,200 tax rebate, but that was owed to me. A lot of people are finding out right now, at this very moment, that a lot of things that they took for granted are disappearing. So, how do you get by? How do you cope? How do you prosper? There were many people who prospered in the Depression, in the Great Depression of the 20s. They prospered. They became wealthy. Why? Well, because their mindset was different. They had a different way of thinking about things. Therefore, they began to prosper. There was this old show on TV about the Depression. It was called The Waltons, way, way, way back in the old days. And it was about the love that this family had for each other, even though they were poor. And about the honest work they did, about the hard work they did. In those days, work was harder. But how they all came together, and how at the end of the day, it was the love of the family. It was the love of all of these human beings that brought blessings. And that's wealth. That's wealth. You can be rich or you can be wealthy. There's two ways. The first way, you store up everything, you scavenge, you be the crab, you pull everything into the hole. You live a very, small existence. Don't spend money. Deny yourself, all kinds of stuff. Or you can subscribe to the superconscious, the subconscious and superconscious. Because when you change your mindset, when you change your understanding, when you change your perception and your position, what happens? Well, then blessings come. Okay? Sorry, I have to do this identity check thingy. There we go. All right. So you can deny yourself and you can save, and like a squirrel put all the nuts in the tree and like that, or in the bank, right? Because that can disappear like that. Okay, the market can crash, everything goes away. And then we're all equal. Or, okay, you can believe in the superconscious, whatever your higher power is, okay, that energy. Because we are the microcosm of the macrocosm, and the macrocosm is here to serve us. However you believe, I'm not here to tell you what to believe, but when you do it that way, things always come. Why? Because things come to us, blessings come to us from the superconscious through others, from God through others, from Jesus Christ through others. And that is living wealthy. Okay. Yeah, I'm being told, see you tomorrow. I'm getting the cue over here. Thank you guys. I looked for the comments. Kurt, he has a book. Message him or email. Okay, sure. Yep, I will do that, Kurt. Thank you so much for joining us. All right, so we shall see you guys tomorrow and every day here 7 a.m. Okay, 7 a.m. Hawaii time. I'm in Hawaii. So thank you to, can I go through the platforms? Okay, YouTube, Trovo, we're on Twitch, we're on 2 Facebook pages, we're on Instagram, how's it? Good morning, you guys. Nice to see you guys. So yeah, but anyway, we'll see you tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Aloha. We're going to disconnect from our